I want to tell you what happened in this experiment of not talking to myself at all. First thing is that I now have such a narrow, what do you call it, overview about everything, because I'm the person who never gossip anyone, and that's why like sometimes I have a hard time to express myself because I just never share those judgment, those opinion, or anything like what I feel about myself or what I feel about other people. I'm just like, it is what it is. It always come up as that. So having not to talk to myself like at all is actually a really radical move from for my personal expression, because now I limit the space to be seen in the way that I want to be seen as someone who's kind, who is generous, who is really open. And that was actually my mokpyo. Mokpyo. What is mokpyo in English? Mokpyo is like a Korean word for what I'm striking for. And I used to have that insecurity about my personal behavior because I don't seem human enough to be included, and I have that in not insecurity, that problem of feeling belonging as a fellow human being. So I have thought to expand my expression range in order to feel belong to you guys, to the collective. And I succeeded for at 2018, 2020. Like when I was healing, I began to feel like, okay, I am human. I'm living as a human in this lifetime. Stop thinking like I am still an alien, even though like I have some intricate details about my power that can seem like I am not a regular human, but I am here in my own flesh as a human. So thinking otherwise is actually really weird. So I don't. And now I don't have that. I don't have that separation anymore. And I'm coming back to who I was. Now I am at the beginning of that stage of I want to overcome my insecurities. I essentially numb this space of not neutrality. It's literally zero because I don't really think about anything unless I was asked about it. And that's why I never gossip. I never have any judgment about other people. I just like, it is what it is. It is who they are. Why am I judging whatever they are? I don't know what oh, I don't know their stories. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know anything that they have, the resources. So I don't have the capacity to judge other people. And that's why I always silent. And if you knew me, if you knew the old version of me before high school, nah, before middle school, you know that I was such a quiet person. It was so quiet that it is so loud. So I was loudly quiet, and people always question, like, why is this person so quiet? Like, what is this person thinking in their mind when they're this quiet? And it's always like fascinating for people to see me talk because I have never talked in the social setting. And I had those moments where I was presenting something in front of the class because I'm living in Indonesia. It is uncommon in my time when I was in the middle school. It is uncommon that someone can speak dual language when they are in the national school, like in not in an international school. In international school, you sometimes learn different language, but in the national school, regular school, you just learn that country language, which is Indonesia. And I have the ability to present certain material in English fluently, and it was so fascinating because I was that quiet person. I was that quiet kid who always sit in the corner and never talk to anyone. And so 왕따 됐어요. So I was the out. What do you call it in English? Oh my god, I have known so many Korean words that sometimes I just lost the memory of English and Indonesian. So 왕따가 뭐지? Like the kid that you exclude from the social event whatsoever. So I was that kid. So it's very weird to see me in front of the class to the people to the friends that I have never talked to, and I was fluently speaking English. So yeah, that was just one of the habits. It was fascinating to see me speak. And because I understand that I am behaving weirdly. So I'm like, okay, this is not common. I can see that everyone else is actually looking at me weirdly, and I don't like that look because I can see that they're judging me in a way that you are this type of person when actually I'm not. So because I want to overcome that, I have the dream to become more easygoing, more social, more outspoken, more conversationalist, and all that stuff. So I try my best in high school, around high school, to like expand my skill, and in that way, I am become more expressive. And I learned that okay, when you talk, you actually learn like this. When you actually feeling yourself. Now, this is one of the things that I have not developed as a child because my family was that strict, was that distant, because I didn't develop emotional connection between my family members that I have a difficulty in the social life, and also like it affected how I want to go after my mission, which is doing my business and all that stuff, improving the ratio, the human race in general. And I need to have enough conversational skill to go after that mission. That's the only reason why actually expanding myself, because I need, that's the thing. I need to have this skill, and I develop it around high school, and I learn how to take a conversation, how to listen to myself, how to feel myself, how to not lose myself in a social setting, how to build a connection between other people, how to read the flow of interaction between humans, how to be compassionate, how to express sympathy, empathy, and all that stuff. I learned all of that in high school. And my life actually has been all about experiment ever since I was 8 because of that mission. And this is one of those missions where I expanded myself to let people come in, experience me, upgrade who they are, because we have a connection. That is the essence of this. I still remember to this day about I was waiting for my dad to pick me up. It was raining, and there was one girl that I don't share class with, but we have a few exchange word, and we are talking there, and I'm like, I wonder like if I can try to eventually banter here, like, oh my god, that's what you are, and then I start to show emotion even though like, it's not real. So at the time I'm still faking my emotion because I don't know what is human emotion. That is how emotionally disabled I was. And I try it and was like, oh, actually it is. It is kind of build that connection. That's fascinating. And I talked to this person. mm, so this is how you banter. This is how you have a conversation. I still remember the scent of the air, how this person talk, how we are exchanging words. It was one of the experiment that I can say successful in the expansion of my social skill. And and then I still don't have the emotional ability to connect with myself, with the human part of me. And I'm expanded more, extended the time to go beyond, to eventually drag myself in the setting where I become a completely opposite personality type. Because at the beginning, I was an INTJ. I'm still an INTJ. But then I built the second layer of personality, which is, what do you call it? I have it in my email. So sometimes I took a test from time to time about my MBTI to just see where I land. And because the experiment has been successful, has expired when I was entering my healing stage, that thing become set, like a set in stone. Like I have two different personality type that I sometimes use uh, according to whatever social setting I was in. Wait a minute, I'm searching for what was what was my mm, what was my oh no, did I delete it? No way. Oh, I wasn't checking. So I was interchanging from INTJ and INFP. And this is such a different personality because INTJ is a strategist. They are the type of people who always think the beginning to the end with all the steps included. They are very like an architect of life and they don't skip steps. That's INTJ. And they are rigid because of that. And they cannot extend their emotion because they need to succeed in their plan. And I was that person very deeply. But then I also understand that when I was a child, before all this family broken down, I was that person who can exchange emotion out loud. I was that person who is really caring, really loving about my family. I'm about to cry because it was that hard. I was changing myself that hard because my experience, my life experience, actually that harsh, and it forced me to build this um, characteristic of INTJ. But then, because I understand at 8 years old, I have a mission to go after, I start to see that the problem with INTJ is that they cannot express, feel, or extend their emotional state because they are that focused. One line in the front, that all they see. They cannot see the side of the road. They are just seeing the road, the end of the road. That's it. Nothing else. And to break that, I remember the part where the time when I was expressive, I was loving, I was caring, and I never carry that part of me because of how my life has been. And now that I'm in the time where, oh, I understand that I still cannot feel emotion, which is like around high school. I still can't feel my emotion. I extended the time. I tap into that memory and oh, actually, I have this. This is a proof that I can feel emotion. Let's expand from that. And I expand it more, I expand it more, I expand it more until just lately, I start to understand that my vision about myself, my vision about where I'm going is blurred because I was becoming a little bit autistic. I was becoming not myself. It was somewhat like I stretch myself so thin that all I see is fog rather than the land itself. Everything started to blur, and I show that tendency of autism because of it. It's like, and then I maybe autism is not the right word, but it's like I'm losing myself because I was that committed to this experiment. And now that I'm coming back, not talking to myself, because one of the, what do you call it, habit of this stretch identity is you start to become a delusional a bit and you are engaging more in that delusion than the reality. So I become less authentic in my own expression because I have stretched myself so thin. And I feel it. I felt it like lately. I'm like, I actually don't feel that, but I have the need to express myself. So I'm just going to follow the need rather than the true that I'm feeling. And it's not good because then I'm lying to myself, knowing that this is not the road that I want to choose. It just what's available. So I decided to go back to embrace my rigidness, to embrace my one focus front view only, and I'm coming back to it now. Now I'm going to tell you the present time of what I actually feel about this experiment of embracing my true core again. Is that I have a fear. This fear is somewhat a bit lost in the wood because I have never fixed it. I never tended in the first place because I have the need to explore that person who can hold conversation, who allow people to come in to my world, and I just abandon this person, abandon this other aspect of myself because of that. And this is like me being sensitive to the surrounding, the timeline, the aura, the energetics. And now that I'm coming back to it, I start to seeing things again, which is one of the characteristics of being so sensitive that I don't like is that I am connected to the other side. Now, it has gotten less frequent that I see some ghost, some fragment of timeline, some memory of the dead from the dead, uh, and all those like intricate spirituality that was just so dark. I was like so far away from it because I have learned how to express myself, how to ground myself in my human body, how to like just be human, like a regular human who has nothing flawed in their life. But now I'm coming back to this idea of being sensitive. It's like I'm caging. It's like I have a complete cage. I have a complete gate around my personal property that I'm very quiet, but I can still hear what is the other side of the wall. And it's really bothering me because it's scary. Sometimes you don't have any lifeline. There is no one that can help you, that can protect you in this time. I was once asked to learn it from someone who is more masterful in this kind of experience, which is the dark the really dark reality of this world, which is really like the dead and the other timeline. And sometimes it's not nice. And because I get to be quiet for so long now, because I don't talk to myself at all, I started to connect with the timeline that is not so good. And it's mind nerving about it. I'm kind of scared, to be honest. But what's good about this experience to connect with the other side is that because I am coming back to this aspect of myself, I'm also coming back to the idea that I can read people well because I am already whole. I'm already complete. And now because I can feel my own bubble again, I start to see, oh, this person's bubble is actually like this. This area bubble is actually like this. And I can feel that distinction very loudly. And it is very exhausting to experience it frequent distinction differences because you need to be aware that it is not your job to change whatever that distinction is, which is my warrior syndrome that I used to have because I was that person who are guarding other people from suffering, but I always fail because no one can guard whatever experience anyone else have because it's just in their reality. Unless they are asking for help, you cannot help them. That's the problem. And I'm kind of scared to experience this again. But since I have already equipped myself with so many skills, with so many tools about this life, like I can have hope that it will not be the same. It will not be as painful as it was. And I used to think like I was a psychic. Well, I was. I think I still am. But at the same time, I don't know how to categorize myself. I have once like asked the universe to bring me someone who actually that masterful in their spiritual gift to just like say, am I like one of them or like am I just like being delusional or being psycho about myself? And universe brought me this person in front of me and they told me straight to my face, you are one of us. And I'm like, at the time, I was like, before 20, I think like 2016, 2015, I was really denying that part of my spiritual gift because I don't like it. It was so painful to know things you don't want to know without you asking, or the history of the time, of a place, of a person, and you just know the darkest part of who they are. It's literally another type of suffering. And this is like only the people who have a spiritual gift who knows this type of suffering. And I'm like, I don't want to get back on that. But then I received the confirmation that I am one of the psychic people who is in this area, in this neighborhood, in this society that I'm living. They call it an indigo child. I call myself a psychic. At one time, I also call myself a psycho because of my NTJ traits of really distant emotional capacity. But then I'm like, which is weird because I know everything about everyone out there, but I don't know about myself, especially about my feelings. That's why I call myself a psycho because of that. And sometimes like I don't have the same emotional frequency as everyone out there. When someone out there crying, I was just like tilting my head and was like, oh, why is this person sad? I mean, like, you can just do it like this, right? Why are you sad? Why are you angry? Why, how can you be so happy? Like, it was that distant. It was becoming a problem that I label myself as a psycho. And this person in front of me said that you actually an indigo child. Don't want to believe it. I still in denial stage. But later on in the 2018, around 2020, I become okay, we already got what it needs to belong as a human. We already grounded ourselves enough to know that we can go back to the old version of ourselves, the version that holds every power that we have to eventually be our true, complete version who never denied, ignore, forget, or completely reset everything. And I'm coming back to it now. I can't say that I am confident about it. I have too many anxiety about this version of myself, but I also understand that I cannot ignore it any longer because it's here, because I'm coming back to the version of me who is practically rigid but also grounded. And I wonder like what is the end line of this phase. I just wonder like if I can stand it when things really rough on the edges and I am the person who cannot change or help those edges to smooth those edges. I wonder because sometimes when I see people's bubble, when I see a certain timeline, the edges are needed. Like it's not wrong to have those edges, but it feels weird to feel it because for me, it sounds not coherence. It doesn't sound as coherent as I would experience it myself. And I have a really detailed standard of how that thing should feel because it was not aligned with the vision that I have. I have a judgment about that thing. That's essentially it. But as always, if you are experiencing something for numerous of times and you are considered to be a pretty resourceful person, you will eventually win over this. This is something that I told to my friends because sometimes my friends has really great are really great at catching really wrong people to date. And I'm always seeing them like that person is not right for you. Sometimes the reason is actually unreal because I just see it from the future timeline. I was using my psychic ability and this person doesn't show any of that sign and I'm just telling this my friend straight to their face, it's not your person. They don't believe it. They go on. They follow the trap that I have told them before. So many times. So many times. And I get tired listening to my friends' terrible dating life and I'm just like, I don't know. And it's also like why I never get into a really deep relationship with someone because I can see the future timeline. I can see where I stand. I have a really distinct standard. If no one actually can fit into this category, I would never develop any relationship with them. Or I would take it lightly. And that is also why I'm stretching myself thin because of that reason because I was so guarded in my own property that I was never letting anyone else in. It was a really harsh environment to live in, and I'm just like, I'm so tired of this life. I want to change it, and I did. I did eventually change my reality, but we are coming back to the reality of where everything is not great. This is terrible. I'm like 70% scared, in fear, 30% have hope that it will be better. Maybe it will have a turnover by some time in the future with the things I am actually able to do because I'm in this version of myself. But that time is in the future. It's still not here to begin with. And I hate waiting because of this, because I can see it clearly that it will happen, but I also know that it will happen eventually at the right time, but that time is not here. It's not now. I feel so terrible about it. But it's just my thought. So this is the idea of having an aspect of being so sensitive, because you need to master your emotional to the masterful level, which is your human emotion, but also like your other version of emotion. And because as a sensitive, you are in the limbo of you are here, but you are also there. Balancing this out is such a hard work because no one no one that was here before me have this much of ability to contain an emotion. Because at one time, if you are so sensitive in a social setting, you are experiencing yourself, but you're also experiencing everyone else. So the barrier between this is your reality, this is their reality, this is your choice, this is their choice is gone. That's why like I was so responsible. I'm being so responsible about everything else because I can see the depth of why this person becoming like this, why this person is choosing this, why is this, and that's why like I have a hard time balancing my own reality because like I am, where am I? I kind of know where I am, but also like I have the connection with this person even though like, I don't really have a reality re the real connection with this person. So it's like you are living in the fourth dimension. This is like a characteristic of people who born in the fourth dimensional reality, that there is no barrier within everything. It's just like you. It's just you, because I can feel everyone. 음, 걱정했는데, 근데 뭐, 어차피 해야 되니까. I'm still worried, but I'm like, there's nothing that we can do about this because it is what it is. Now we are coming back to the idea of it is what it is. It's not something that in my control because I'm moving in flow with my destiny. It's also like a thing like because I was so intact. I was so close with this spiritual world, with this other side. I am hardly believe that I can change my destiny because of that. Even though like the rapture of time and space is actually breaking down right now, and there are so many people who think like this reality will become this person actually predicted about this, but it's like no one actually right at this time. If you have those moments, it is what it is, but I'm still the person who followed the timeline that I was supposed to. And having myself not walking in my destiny is weird because I was not bored with that distinction. I was just in it. I was always on board with the mission, and I think I will for the next 20 years. 얼마나 한숨했을까? Oh, like how many times I have been sighing, and again. What's weird is that whenever I speak Korean, it's more flow. But when I'm speaking in English, because the pronunciation is a bit harder to project in my own muscle, my voice has actually become inverted. But when I speak in a Korean, 이거처럼, it's more like I'm out, like I'm extending my voice. And if you don't know, English and Korean has a different energy flow, and that's also like why I chose to learn those language. I learned English like right at the fifth when I was 5 years old because I watched too many movies, and I learned Korean, especially Korean alphabet, is actually when I was in 7th grade. So it's pretty early. Yeah, I was not following the trend of the Korean lifestyle, which is like just pretty much recently. It was like long ago because of a song, and I learned how to sing the song by learning the alphabet, and I began to notice, oh, it's actually written in this way, in this way, in this way. And Korean actually have the same sentence sequence as Indonesian, as a casual Indonesian. So if you learn Indonesian in very rigid and very polite structure of words, you probably learned it the way a book is written. But if you learned it from from people, you actually we actually have the same sentence sequence as those people in Korea, especially in my region, because Indonesia actually have too many language, and the language that is spoken in my area is spoken like a freaking Korean. We speak the object first and then the subject last, or a switch like that. It's the same in the overturn. So yeah, my life has been that thing, spirituality. And I am a bit nervous, a bit frustrated, a bit hopeful about it. But yeah, I wonder like how is this going to end? And now I'm speaking with an inverted voice so that you know. But sometimes yeah, I speak it in this such a I wonder like if I could speak it in a more effortless tone, which is I haven't. I wonder like if I can change this situation. But yeah, that's all I want to share today. It's a bit long. It's like a freaking 40 minutes. If you listen to it until the end, let me know in the comment. Type 8. And 8 is actually the number that I liked. And numerology wise, it is aligned with my reality. So I liked the number 8 for that reason. But you can type any number you have in mind. You liked whatever number you choose. So yeah. And thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.